Hello everyone and welcome back to ModLife 4 episode number 9. Since we last left off, I've not really had a chance to get a whole lot going on. We've been pretty busy. I've been fairly busy. This last week has been kind of crazy, and this one is kind of shaping up to be the same. So I do apologize last week for the lack of videos. The Sunday that I was recording, I just really was kind of down, and I did my best to get the one out, and was going to try to do more, but the rest of the week just really did not allow me to do that. So I really am sorry, and hopefully we won't have too many more of those. This week is, like I said, shaping up to be the same. Had some other things come up. Basically had a UHC Ultra Hardcore event for Minecraft, charity event this past weekend on my Twitch channel with a lot of the other wonderful Minecrackers as well. I had a blast. It was a lot of fun, and it was amazing to see the goal actually hit. The wonderful people watching, and the just everyone that was able to help out and put in for that wonderful charity for Extra Life. It was wonderful. It was just great. Downright amazing. So if you guys watched and all that good stuff and helped out and all that, thank you so much for doing so. Just another thank you from me. And well, today I got some plans. So I haven't really had a chance to do a whole lot of craziness since last time off camera, which would be for like streaming and stuff, but I did come up with some pretty fun and interesting things. And basically we did get a few other little tiny things set up and ready to go. We got our moon bay kind of working down here very well. We did that in the last episode, and I extended it out just a tad bit that way, but I still got to work on it a little bit more. I just haven't had a chance. A lot of my time has been really strange lately, but hopefully we'll be able to start working on getting some more going and everything. But I got an inventory full of stuff I want to show you guys, and we're going to be working with those today. I did want to go ahead and point out that if you notice the pistol here that we made, I think I had this in the last episode, well, you can also dye them. Just combine it in your crafting with a dye, and it will color it, and you can also even enchant them. There's very specific enchants from Crayfish's gun mod that will go on them, and I just so happen to get Puncturing 4, Overcapacity 3, and Quick Hands 2. Now, if you're very curious as to what these do, we do have enchantment descriptions. So if you type in, say for instance, at Cray, and we go to the bottom, you'll see a list of these books, and if you hover over them with left shift pushed down, it will tell you exactly what each of these enchants actually do. Now, I would show you more about this, but unfortunately, I really can't because I don't have bullets. We are extremely low on gunpowder. So, with that being said, I did go into the Nether, and I spent a lot of time, this is where most of my time seemingly went, was trying to find a Nether fortress. Eventually, towards the end, after the UHC event, which I was only going to spend a few minutes on stream afterwards, and see if we got lucky. Well, guess what? We got lucky. We found a blaze spawner, so we got ourselves some blaze rods. Now, you might be asking, what necessarily do we need these for? Well, it's this right here. So in order for us to actually be able to, say for instance, produce mob loot from hostile mobs, we need to make the upgraded version of this and this. So in order to make the stone mob farm, we actually needed 2 wooden mob farms, which we have already crafted, such as this. And from here, we just need another bookshelf. Now we need 2 of these to make the next tier, the iron mob farm, which will need 4 blaze rods, a piece of obsidian, and 2 blocks of iron. So what I've decided to kind of do, and I don't know if it is coming across yet, but hopefully it kind of is, I want to try to be a little bit more descriptive than I have been as of late in my videos for you guys. Because, well, I know not everyone knows everything about all the mods that I'm using or doing, and that's wonderful. My mouse has decided to quit working. How cool. Let me go ahead and crack open IQ and close it out real fast because I know exactly what it's doing. Where is IQ? Okay, there it goes. It's gone. It already... I love this issue and when it happens. It is literally my favorite. So we're going to go through and we're going to make a few things. So we did already make some super glue, but I feel like for this we might need a few more things. Looks like we're good. So let's go ahead and craft up another little tiny bit of super glue. There we go. So there. So we got this going. We also have this. We have this lasso, but we're going to go ahead and place this out. That sheep, because I don't want him. I want a creeper, because I need gunpowder. And I do see quite a few creepers on my mini-map, and I am going to utilize that because I do not want to spend all episode trying to find a said creeper, which thankfully it looks like there's one right there. Yep, nice try, buddy. How wonderful. Also, I did make some boots. There's a few other things I did do to get around in the nether a little bit more, and you might be wondering about my hat, so I do apologize for missing quite a few things there. I did some searching around, and in the nether we did find some chests, I believe, and in the overworld, I think there was some mine shafts where we found a few of the minecart chests, and I managed to get some artifacts. In the next update, we should have bountiful baubles as well, which is this. So try not to do too much exploring around, and that way you guys will have that. I'll try to get an update out this week or next. These mods are constantly updating, and I'm trying to make sure it's running well, and I just haven't had a chance to make sure everything's going to run well, and I don't want to just like throw it out with mods updated and not check to make sure everything was going right, because the last version of JEI that I installed actually had a little bit of an annoying thing. So if you would like, say, type in something in here, and you tried to click somewhere, this would still be, you know, selected. The field, text field would still be selected. When I click, it unselects. So that means I can kind of like, you know, do whatever. I can still kind of like, you know, push buttons and all that good stuff. Not necessarily what I meant to do there, but you see what I mean. So anyways, so I went ahead and reverted back to the previous version. So just letting you know. Alright, so there we go. We got ourselves a creeper in here. Now we should be slowly but surely producing ourselves a little bit of gunpowder. So now that we have a way to get some gunpowder, let me go ahead and make a few bullets up real fast. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit about these enchants before we get started for today. So there we go. Nice full stack. And that might come in handy for us for today as well. So let's show you. So this has quick hands on it, overcapacity, which you can see there already that the ammo has been increased, and puncturing 4, which I believe is for damage, and you can see it's already at 9. So this thing's pretty strong. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Look at that. And then we got gunpowder. So this thing's still not taking durability damage. Okay. So anyways, just going to let this thing kind of run, do its thing, while we go ahead and do some other things. So, you might be wondering, Bentley, why is there so many things in your inventory? What have you been up to? Well, if you've been watching my stream, you probably already know what we're going to work on today. I specifically wanted to take it apart and make sure it was working first, but also be able to show you guys today. Oh yeah. Also, I enchanted some diamond boots with multi-jump, so that way I could, well, multi-jump. And I also have this mod. This should have been in the pack by default. I totally forgot about the Deku leaf. I like the Deku leaf. Should have made the Deku leaf. Didn't know we could make the Deku leaf. But I do have the wonderful Paraglider mod. Now, there's one downside of this particular mod, and that is the fact that it has a stamina bar. If you see the little circle in the middle left of my screen, that is, well, just like from Breath of the Wild, a little stamina bar. And as soon as it empties and goes down to nothing, unfortunately, you will fall. Now, it will do that to where it kind of makes it to where you don't have to worry about, you know, dying as much, but as long as you're in a good spot. So with the boots, the reason why this is so helpful is because A, I can jump anytime. And then once that cooldown on the boots is done, I can actually basically just keep going. It just keeps resetting. Now, there's another pair of boots that I ended up getting by the way. You can see how high we end up going. There was another pair of boots that I did manage to get, and I don't remember where I put them. But they have a speed boost on them, so when you run, you will go a lot faster, and it also increases the speed while you're on the paraglider, so it is useful in that sense if you need some early way to get around, especially like in the nether. So anyways, it's been a little while catching you guys up. I hope you don't mind. I do apologize for everything, and let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully this won't be too bad. We're gonna head to the mining dimension. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of my testing and what I set up for today. Now, there are other easier methods of obtaining and getting ore and such, but what's fun in that, right? Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of fun, and that's basically what I was planning on doing and showing you guys today. So, I've never done it, and I wanted to try it. So that was the whole plan. But there are easier and other methods for you to get ores, and you can do it if you wish. We'll get to those eventually, but for now, I wanted to do this. So, if you're ready, let's go. I went ahead and made quite a few mechanical drills, which are pretty easy to make. Some andesite casings, which we've seen how to make before, some planks, wood, and andesite alloy. From there, more andesite alloy and iron. So it did take a little bit of iron to make this. We also made 3 deployers, so a little bit of the electron tubes, brass hands, cogwheels, the andesite casing again. Brass hands are just made with brass sheets, and we already saw how to make brass. And, well, we also need a mechanical plow. Very easy andesite casing, andesite alloy, and iron plates. In such a way, we have a minecart with a furnace and the cart assembler. Now, if you're very curious as to what these items do and you're not on the latest version of Create, you can go ahead and update it if you wish. That way you can use the ponder feature. I know I've showed this before, but it's very useful and, well, quite frankly, it's freaking cool. It's really amazing to be able to show you everything that this does. But here we go. We have a cart assembler as well, some logs, andesite alloy, and a little bit of redstone. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to place this down. As you can see, I already have 2 chests here. And the reason why I did not pick these up, well, could have picked that one up. This one still has a lot of stuff in it. Quite a bit of stuff. This is basically everything in mine. Now, if you guys want to see the tunnels, these are the tunnels that I dug with this particular machine. And there's probably better ways of doing it. Like I said, this is a first for me, so I've not really had a chance to kind of make it better or experiment with it very much. So anyways, let's get started, shall we? First things first, we're going to want to place down our mechanical drills, I think. I think we'll go ahead and start by having a block down, which we'll go ahead and make use of these wonderful, wonderful 2 compact storage barrels here. Once we place one down, we'll go ahead and give it a nice little rotate. Should help us place down the next ones a little bit better. But in the meantime, we do want to make sure we glue everything nice and tight together. So let's go ahead and line this up. And what we're going to be doing is a 5x5. Now, you might not need to do a 5x5. You could totally go 3x3 if you wish. I personally like the idea of the 5x5, and man, is it look impressive. Now, I did try something. You'll notice that I have these bins here from Mechanism just kind of floating, and that's because I tried hooking them up to the machine, the contraption as it's called, and it didn't work. So it wouldn't take. There's some blocks and items that you have to be very, very cautious with. So, unfortunately, that's one of them. And we don't have storage drawers. Alright, so some of these are going to place a little wonky and weird, but that's okay. We'll give it a nice little twist and make sure everything's nice and good. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Alright, so those are done. Let's get up to the top here. We'll put some more glue down. And we're going to need a block. Probably, huh? There we go. Oh, if you hold shift, it kind of gets a little annoying. So if you get all the way over holding shift, let go. Okay, well, fine. You want to be that way? You want to play this game with me? Fine. Fine. So we'll just try not to hold shift. And, well, that one's just going to do it anyway, so let's not worry about it. Last layer here. More glue. Do not worry about too much glue. I don't feel like you could really ever have too much glue. But there we have it. Look, a 5x5. So that's wonderful. Looks good. These two are connected because of the glue. Let's go ahead and get a little bit more glue going here. We're just gonna, we probably don't need that much, but I like to always make sure. So, because I did have some problems trying to make sure to get this thing up and rolling the way I wanted it to. So if you want to replicate this design that I'm going to be doing, you can actually go crazy and come up with a better design or ideas for yourself. This is particularly what I'm going to do, though. This is what I found to work for me, and, well, you might find something working a little bit better for you. So we're going to need to put a deployer, actually, a block down. Now, the reason why we need this, and I'll explain real quick, is for a very simple reason, and that is because, well, hold on, let me fix this hole, because I can't think and talk at the same time, apparently. It's going to bug me. We need to be able to place a block down in case we run over something like a ravine. So what the deployer does is it allows it to place a block down. Basically, so you see how this is sitting at the moment? It's a little hard to explain. So you see where the hand is? The block space underneath the hand, this empty hole right here, is exactly where it will place the block. So we want to go ahead and make sure we set that as well. Let's grab another piece of cobblestone. And the way you do that, you still gave it, okay, fine, whatever. Okay, don't do that. Is right here, the filter. So just take the block in your hand, right click it, and now it has itself a nice little filter. I feel like I need another block. I was using these spruce logs here to kind of connect everything up the way I would like. And I believe here now, though, is where we're going to need a little bit more glue. And we're going to start placing our deployers down. We're going to need 2 more here, and I'll explain why. And that is because these are going to be placing down our tracks, the rails. So let's go ahead and put the filter in for those 2. And these will be able to pull from chests. So let's have a chest over here. This will end up collecting a whole bunch of other stuff. But as long as it has rails, it'll be able to use it. So now those will be able to place down in front. And we have 2 because I have had 1 before in both spots. And it seemed like it didn't really want to place very well. And it would kind of get caught up. So having 2 to be able to make sure it hits that spot just right has been working for me very well. So there we go. All right, let's place a block above here so you can see here the cart assembler. We got this little, and I'll show you guys and I'll tell you all about how this guy works here in just a minute, but I figure it would be better to show you, right? So I'm gonna place a block down. So you saw the little bit of like the sticky glue look on top of it, and that was because that's how it connects everything together. Now, let me actually pick that back up because I need to make sure to put a piece of glue there as well. And we're gonna go and put that there. And then from here, we're gonna put a little bit of glue, and I think, let's actually pick that up. We should be okay to just go ahead and place this down as it is right there. Oh, we need a block. Let's use a block we're gonna get back. It's not gonna go in the wrong spot. And then we'll put our mechanical plow down. So what this does, the plow itself, we saw how to make it. This basically allows you to pick up items that it comes across. It can also do a few other things. It can be moved as part of an animated contraption, which is basically what we're making. It's just using a minecart as an animated contraption. So in this case, it was using a kinetic piston, I think it is. But it can break certain things in front of it. It can also do some other interesting things, which I'll go ahead and show you guys. And it shows that basically I had a chest on there. It can also plow farmland. Check it out. Pretty neat, right? So there you go. Nice, easy way of doing that. Now, once that's placed down, it's pretty simple. You just go ahead and put a little glue on there. We'll just do something like that. Do a little something like that. Put in a piece of glue there and there. And it looks like we still need another block. All right, well, for the sake of doing this, we're just going to use a piece of cobblestone. Also, another thing I like to do is I like to put a torch back here. All right, so for the most part, this thing's practically ready to go. I mean, for the most part, it's pretty much good. There are some problems that this will run into eventually, and that is basically water. Lava too, but we're a little too high up for lava, so we don't have to worry about that as much. But let's go ahead and talk about this cart assembler. So you will want a lever for this because in order to activate the contraption, you want to have a redstone signal powering the cart assembler. You'll see that the little red line here comes on, and then when I flip it back off, it goes off. Now there is a reason for this. Let's go ahead and combine these two together to make a minecart with furnace. A nice, beautiful vanilla item, and the reason why we're going to use this is because this is what's going to help power this and push this along, being a furnace minecart. You could use a regular minecart if you wanted to, but might need to, use booster tracks and stuff like that. But this also still will pull, from what I know, coal from these chests. It basically went this far and this far without me ever having to put more coal inside of it. So that says a little something there, right? So let's go ahead and flip this on, make sure our little red is powered there. And when we push and use the furnace minecart with a little bit of the coal here, you'll notice it comes to life. And it died. Probably because the hole was never filled. Wonderful. Now this is where things get a little finicky at times. It definitely happens. It's been known to happen. But in doing so, just a few little minor things will end up getting this thing running yet again. Do you hear that wonderful sound? That echo of this wonderful contraption working and automatically mining? There is a little bit of a downside to this thing, and I haven't tried it with a chunk loader yet. But the fact that this will not work unless you're kind of around it. So there's a little bit of a downside to it, but you could make this thing excessively large. And the reason I say that is because, like, you could probably put a lot more drills on this and then just kind of follow behind it, picking up all the little things out of the walls and the crevices while also placing some torches down, so that way everything stays nice and lit while not having to worry about mobs. Now, if you want to get a little bit more in depth on this and not have to worry about it, here's what you can do. You can AFK on this. You can literally sit on top and not have to worry about a thing. It will pull you along. The only thing you have to worry about is mobs maybe dropping from the ceiling, water or lava maybe coming out and pushing you. There is a downside though, and that's the water. So the water, if it does end up hitting the track, it will break it. It will kind of break the whole thing, which is a little downside. So babying it is something you're going to have to do. But let's go ahead and go over and while we watch this thing work in action. So we see the deployer in the front, not really doing anything right now because there's nothing in that area to where it can place a block. But if we come across something, which I know we will eventually because I remember there being a ravine down this way, it will be able to go ahead and place a block down, in this case cobblestone, which we're getting a ton of because we're mining a 5x5 area every time. It'll have plenty to do. These two here, placing down our wonderful, wonderful tracks in front of us, making sure that there's always a track there, and the mechanical plow in the back, picking up behind it, just to allow our cart a little area to move along in. And all of those are being placed back into these up here, by the way. So all these rails are being placed back up here. So we got ourselves a nice little mining situation, a nice little, well, drill bore, I guess, to do a lot of mining for us. So this contraption looks pretty good. Now, unfortunately, it can get filled up pretty quick, and we do have not really much of a problem to fix that. Basically, we do have this logistical sorter here that I made with the basic control circuit and our metallurgic infuser with a piece of osmium and 2 redstone, well, dusts will give you a basic control circuit. With a little bit of iron and an ingenuity of a piston, you should be able to make this wonderful logistical sorter. Now, you'll notice we also have the trash can. Fortunately, it doesn't stick to the contraption. So from Create, this is actually called a contraption. And I'll show you why in just a second We'll pull out our wrench, and what we're going to do to get this to stop, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can use the cart assembler, which we have left promptly back there. Let's go ahead and show you guys also how far we've gone so far, by the way, which has been already a little ways. Just a little right click with this, we'll pick up the minecart contraption. So I call it contraption, but yeah, minecart contraption anyways. So let's go back and let's pick up the other piece, our cart assembler. Something we should always probably make sure we take with us. So we don't want to leave it laying around because, well, we might need it. So we'll go ahead and break that with a pick. Get that. And let's head back down this way. I'm going to show you guys what we're going to do in our plan. So we got the contraption basically up and running, and it looks like it's working fairly well if you can't tell. It's gorgeous, and this is going to allow us to get a lot of resources, and with vein mining, we're going to be able to pick up a lot of the wonderful stuff that's just kind of laying around in these tunnels. Alright, so to put it back down, just right click on your track with your contraption in hand, and there you go. So you can see it did do a little bit, but it should just stop. I think it pretty much gets rid of anything that was inside of there. And if you right click, you'll notice we can't really open anything. And in the top left, it just says stone. Well, that's because this is still kind of an entity. So what we need to do is we need to place our cart assembler down. And what we'll do is we'll try to place it right there. You see where I have highlighted the rail? Just place that right there. Seeing how this has no redstone signal, and this guy is basically, well, right under it, it turns it back into our, well, pre-built contraption before it turned into one. So now we can open up the chests and see what's going on. We have all of our rails there. Everything else is doing pretty well. We can go and auto sort our wonderful compact barrel here with all of the ores and things that this thing is already picking up. I might also set it for the clay balls because that is a lot of clay. But let's go ahead and put a little piece of glue here, and we're going to put the trash can right there. So the trash can will move along with it. I've tried other pipes. They won't work. Is it refined pipes? Which pipes are these? Yeah, refined pipes. These end up losing their extractor, the thing that allows you to extract out of a chest with them. There might be something else. A chute might work, but I don't know if we can filter the chute the way I want, so I'm going to have to play around with it a little bit more. But I figured in the meantime, if it gets full, you'll notice items starting to drop on the ground. Just pick it up, place it down, do this, and then I have a logistical sorter ready to go. Shift right click on the inventory so that way it pulls from that to this. And this is already set up to pull a stack at a time of the items I want it to pull out, which in this case is going to be a lot of the cobblestone and a lot of the other stones that we don't really want. I'll go ahead and right click on this to show you guys what I have done. So a new filter can be easily set up, and I'll show you guys with the clay here because the clay is a little annoying. So we'll just click new filter, item stack, take your clay, click right there, hit save, and that's all you got to do. Everything else is default. And then you just got to wait for just a second. And then that way you don't have to pull it out into your inventory and throw it away yourself. And there you have it. Pretty much everything right there. So I am keeping gravel because I know I'm going to need it, andesite for more create building stuff. Limestone, I don't know why I'm keeping limestone. I might go and get rid of it, but for the most part, you'll notice that we have plenty of coal to keep this thing nice and powered. We're picking up a lot of iron and a lot of other resources. And then just easily break this, and this will be ready to go again. This has already still got everything saved inside of it. So if we place it down again, you'll still notice. So there you go. Nice little fun, easy setup. And if you're ready to take this thing down the road again, just go ahead and put your little lever down again. Right click with that. Now you got to be a little careful because with water, the way this thing actually messes up is that it will push. If you saw it like twist like that, it will twist and it'll move like that. That is the downside. That is the way it will end up inevitably breaking, if anything. But we'll notice that the wonderful, wonderful little trash can is now making its way along with it and everything. But this has been a fun thing to figure out. I'm not gonna lie, I've been having a lot of fun figuring this out, and I want to take this a little bit further. I did try something that I thought might help if it does run into a little bit of water, and I will show you guys what that plan was here right now. So let's go ahead and pick it up. So that way it stops for just a minute. We're going to place down our contraption yet again. We'll put our cart assembler down to allow us to edit this a little bit more. And this is why we needed so much glue. Because what I'm going to do is we're going to put a little bit of an edge on this thing. Now this is a little annoying to place sometimes because of the glue. I'm having to click a couple times. I think it might just be kind of like a distance thing. I'm not entirely sure. But basically ending up putting this kind of a wall around it. And I'm using the pillared scoria for a particular reason, for aesthetics. Because this thing is basically drilling and scraping against the walls. So a lined block like this with some lines in it, and it being, you know, kind of brownish, for me, kind of makes sense because it's dirty, it's scraping against the walls and all of that. So it kind of made a little sense. So that's really why I've decided to go with the scoria here. And this is pretty much an easy little contraption to put together. It is going to cost you some resources, but for the most part, like, you're probably going to get your money out of it, to be honest. I would like to see whether or not a chunk loader would work for this. I have no idea if a chunk loader would attach to this and still actually work. I'm not 100% sure on that. If we had a mod, say for instance, kind of like FTB utilities, where you could probably chunk load a particular area, that would more than likely be very useful in this instance, to allow you to be able to kind of set the area you want to mine and then just let it go from there. Now, maybe eventually what I might do, because it sounds kind of cool, is make a chunk destroyer where we have like literally an entire contraption made to just mine the whole bit of a actual chunk. That would be quite interesting. But here we go. Kind of getting towards the end here, and this is why we needed so much glue. Thankfully, it's very easy to make. And that way, this will help keep a little bit of the water out, I'm hoping. And a little bit more away from there. It seems to work against entities, so I assume it would work against water. The downside of this is it is a little bit rough to kind of get it to go afterwards. Just be very careful with how you click that on there, because it's going to do weird angles and eventually it might stop. But it looks like I got lucky here, and it looks like it's just kind of going. So sometimes you have to kind of finesse it a little bit, if you know what I mean. Just be aware you might have to, you know, break it a few times and put it back down in order just to kind of get this thing running the right way again, you know. So yeah, just be aware. The whole wall things will interact with your player, and I think the angle that you right click your coal onto the furnace cart will kind of do something. So like I said, you're just gonna have to play around with it a little bit. But this thing is great. It's working beautifully. We almost got to see it go over a little bit there, just, you know, see whether or not the other part was working. But that's also another thing, right? Like, so we kind of need to leave the cobblestone in there. So that way it has cobblestone to place. There were some other recommendations using things to pick up water around you. The downside of that is I don't think it's gonna work, because the water that I'm thinking about is more or less like a whole like pool of water, not a singular block. So even if you take that one block with a deployer, for instance, and pick it up, there's still going to be more water behind it, and it's just going to keep flowing and probably screwing you up anyways. So that is the downside of the water. Just have to be very careful with how and where. Oh, it's perfect. Look at that go. Isn't that great? Oh, we did have some pretty good luck, by the way. We did end up finding this wonderful spider spawner right underneath where we mined earlier. So it works out in our favor pretty well. So here's our bountiful baubles, wormhole potions, recall potions, some gunpowder that I never picked up that I probably should have. Some very wonderful items, very interesting. Oh, so here it is. Sorry you missed it. but it was going over this wonderful cave here, placing all this nice little cobblestone down. Ow. I was gonna say, I promise I'm a better shot than that. So you can see basically it placing down those blocks so that way it can place down the track on top of it. But anyways, this episode's gone on probably long enough, and I think it might be time to go ahead and call it quits for today. So I do want to go ahead and say thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Yeah, all that good stuff. Hopefully maybe this build will help you out in some shape, way, or form, and you guys can get some wonderful resources. I unfortunately have to walk all the way back home, and yeah, it's okay. Maybe we'll get a better way to kind of get around and move and stuff a little bit later on, but a lot of fun is going to be had, in my opinion, with these wonderful contraptions from Create. I hope we can do some more soon. So anyways, thank you guys again for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys back in the next episode. Until then, goodbye.